Good morning. You're joining us live here on India Today's social media handles. I'm Akshata Nandagopal this Friday morning, getting you all of the top stories. I hope you have had a good week so far. Today, if you look at what's really dominating headlines, it's a story that all of us found extremely amusing and appalling at the same time on social media. The story of a Delhi IAS couple shutting down one of the biggest stadiums in the national capital, the Tyagaraja Stadium, to ensure that they could take their dog for a walk. Now, since then, there's been a lot of outrage. Everyone's questioning how something like this can even happen, because athletes were forced to leave this particular stadium. It was shut down just so this IAS officer can take his dog out for a walk. Obviously, there were a lot of reactions, a lot of memes also. They were doing the runs on this. But what I want to focus on right now is the action that's been taken thereafter. This is a story done by the Indian Express that triggered, of course, a lot of reactions that came in. The Delhi government, Chief Minister Kejriwal reacted, saying that stadiums have to remain open for our athletes till late into the night. But the two IAS officers, the couple, they've been transferred now by the Home Ministry. Let me get you details about that. Sanjeev Khirwar, as well as his wife Rinku Duga, both have been transferred to different parts of the country. So Khirwar has in fact been transferred to Ladakh. His wife has been transferred to Arunachal Pradesh. Both were 1994 batch officers, and this IAS couple have now been transferred out of Delhi, one to Ladakh, one to Arunachal Pradesh, because of how they misuse their position, because of how they misuse their power. I know that there are a lot of jokes and memes doing the rounds, but this is extremely serious and grave, and how brazenly it was happening that every single day athletes who are training to make India proud were told to kind of shut a shop and leave by 7 o'clock just so this couple could walk their dog. Now, the Union Home Ministry, in fact, had sought a report from the Chief Secretary of Delhi. Upon receiving that report, they decided to go ahead and take this step. This was clearly a misuse of facilities at the Tyagaraja Stadium by the couple. The athletes, the sportspersons who were there, were told to leave early. You'd see security officials blowing the whistle, asking them to leave so that Khirwar, who's from Delhi, could actually walk his dog. There's a video and a photo, I'm not sure if you've seen it, where the dog can be seen walking on the tracks along with the couple. Now, besides that, the Aam Aadmi Party has also issued a directive saying that all sports facilities under its ambit will now be open till 10 p.m. and nothing can change that. So no babu, no one with any sort of position can actually come forward and say shut it down before that. This step has been taken. It's a great step, one that's needed, and hopefully will ensure that these kind of steps don't happen anymore, that these kind of incidents cannot happen, because this one has most definitely set a precedent. 24 hours since it was published, since it was aired also by several channels, this kind of a step has been taken by the Union Home Ministry. So we'll get you all the reactions that come in on that story. Let's run you through some of the other big stories of the day. News that came in early this morning from Kashmir of an encounter by our forces. I'm not sure if you saw the killing of a TV actor, Amreen Bhatt. She was gunned down outside her home, and this happened in Budgam. She was with her 10-year-old nephew, who was also shot at by these terrorists. The reason she was targeted was because of her posts on social media, which she was trolled for, which she received a lot of hate for. She bravely continued posting this because her dance videos were termed un-Islamic, and that's why she was targeted by terrorists as well. Two Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists were behind this killing, and in a matter of 24 hours, our forces have identified them, found out where they were, and neutralized them. This encounter happened in Avantipora. So in a matter of 24 hours, they've avenged the killing of this TV actor. Two Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists have been neutralized. Arms and ammunition have also been seized. And right now, security forces are also intent on catching the killers of Safiullah Qadri. He is, in fact, the constable who was killed by terrorists just a day before the TV actor was shot dead. And with him was his 9-year-old daughter, Safa, who suffered bullet wounds to her hand because, again, terrorists didn't stop despite an innocent child being there. They continued to fire at the constable. They've identified who's behind that particular terror attack, but our forces are trying to identify where they are to go ahead and corner them as well. So multiple operations that have been happening. There was an encounter that happened in Srinagar as well, in which terrorists have been neutralized. So multiple successful counter-terror ops that have happened in the valley, and that's something that we're tracking also very closely. The final story is one that sets social media on fire and always has. This time too, it's done that. We're talking about the language debate that's playing out in Tamil Nadu. Of course, fueled by the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Chennai yesterday. There was an event where both he and Chief Minister Stalin shared the stage. It was a government event, huge one at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Chennai. Now, when Chief Minister Stalin went up to speak, he made a very, very political speech in the sense that, he put out demands, appeals to the Prime Minister of what the state of Tamil Nadu wants. And one among those was where he said that don't keep Hindi above Tamil, treat them as equal languages. And this comment, of course, was seen to reignite the entire language debate. How did the Prime Minister respond? When the Prime Minister, in fact, took to the stage to speak, he heaped praises on Tamil, on the language, the culture, etc. So he referred to Tamil as an eternal language, saying that we are committed as a government to developing and promoting Tamil. Essentially, what the Prime Minister has attempted to do here is to put a rest and put an end to this entire debate over Hindi imposition, over Tamil not being given importance, not being treated fairly by the BJP, etc. But what essentially has happened is that this debate isn't going to end any time now. Prime Minister Modi's comments has only triggered a flurry of more reactions, but the BJP largely has slammed Chief Minister M.K. Stalin for all the comments that he's made on that stage with Prime Minister Modi at what was a state event and what was a government event, saying that's not the place for politics. That's not the place to go ahead and put forth your demands or make those kind of comments. So there have been a lot of reactions that have come in, some saying that, the Chief Minister did the right thing by raising these issues on the same platform as the Prime Minister because it's forcing the centre to listen, etc. Let us know what you think. We're, of course, putting out several details of what Chief Minister Stalin said, what the Prime Minister said as well. But that event, no doubt, was a headline-grabbing one. Let us know what you also think about this raging language war. That's it from me. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. Have a great week.